Hello, everybody. I am back and I am live. Um, I haven't been on here in quite the while, so I'm a little rusty. But there's a lot of things that have been going on. I hope all of you, anybody who's watching on replay, is doing good, is doing well. I had a lot of crazy things happen to me this year, so there is that. But I just wanted to make a quick stream to catch up, to say hello to, all my subbies and anybody who happened to just come along the way. There's been a lot of things happening in wrestling as of late. For the longest while, I haven't been on because I just didn't find anything too interesting. This is completely off the cuff. I just kind of wanted to come on and be like what it is and what it does. And the first thing that I kind of wanted to look at today is this whole CM Punk debacle. As everyone knows, he's been fired from World Wrestling Entertainment. No, sorry, he's been fired from AEW. He was fired from World Wrestling Entertainment first. That was quite a long time ago. I believe that was back in 2014, 15, around there. I don't know the exact number. But yeah, he was fired. And he has gotten the boot from AEW. Tony Khan finally decided to grow a pair and he fired him. Now, what I want to know is he was starting fights with everybody and their mama backstage, allegedly. And, look, I said this before. I said this when Brawl Out happened. I have no idea why. Why? I have no idea why he was not given his walking papers the first time. Because to me, it just makes no sense. This was something that we could have seen coming a mile away. But I want to pull some cards on this and see he is actually going back to the WWE. He did hint, I believe. He gave some kind of hint about, only 2 months or whatnot. And with that has happened between UFC WWE and Endeavor buying out the E, we can see that anything is possible. Now, there has been rumors about cuts being on the way, massive cuts being on the way. So that's interesting. We'll see how many people need to get cut in order for CM Punk to get his fill, to get his money on that. So let's see. Let me check and see. Is he really going back to WWE? Because it was a huge debacle with that. And I would just have to say, if the common denominator in all of this is you might want to look at yourself, buddy. You might want to look at yourself. But anyway, let me see. Will CM Punk go back to WWE? Will he go back? Will CM Punk go back to the E. The place that he said he hated their guts for the most part. Can't stand Triple H, can't stand Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but what to say, business is business. So we will see. Will he go back? I'll pull 3 cards. So, from what I can see here, yes, he is going back. The first card I have out the gate is the Chariot card. Chariot can be a sign of victory. It also is about going into battle fast-paced, typically. But you see here, on this card in particular, it doesn't have horses, but it does have 2 Komodo dragons. And Komodo dragons can be slow, but they also can be very quick. They also can be very fast, as well as they're poisonous, not poisonous, but their mouths exert a bacteria that if you get bit, that's not good for you. You could possibly die. So this tells me that he like, to me, he has a lot of venom. He's got a lot of smoke. He's got the smoke. I think it's for AEW, to be honest. But he still has a lot of venom and smoke for people that are there. That's not going to stop him from achieving his victory, which is headlining WrestleMania. That's what he wanted to do. And it looks like he might actually get his way. The next card is the World card. So the World card can symbolize a fulfillment, a completion, an end of a chapter. It can also mean, the way I interpreted, you having all the tools and the necessary things that you need to make your world, or how you see things, to make that complete, to make that fit. This came up, this was in the reverse, so that tells me unfinished business. The chapter is not closing. And then you have the 3 of Pentacles, which is basically building off previous work, building off previous accomplishments. Also, it can be a teamwork card, right? A cooperation card. So we have 2 major arcanas, 1 minor arcana having to do with money, but this was in the reverse. I don't know. This is screaming to me that there are people there that don't want to work with his ass. They ain't feeling it. The card on the bottom is the Starman card, which is the Magician card here. So making things happen. Yeah, he's going back. If anything, this tells me that he definitely is going back to the WWE. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, so next huge thing. Jade is supposedly going. She's finished up with AEW, All Elite Wrestling, and she's heading over to the WWE. Now, let me go into a rant here, all right? In case anybody doesn't know or isn't aware, Tony Khan doesn't give a shit about his women's division, and it shows. Tony Khan, for you to let Jade Cargill go, I would say, is one of the most massive L's of this year. Now, I've been in the comment sections of various other content creators, videos, talking with other wrestling fans and such. And, you have a certain segment who believes that this isn't a big L. You have another certain segment who does believe that this is a massive L. And I'm in one of those camps. Now, the contrary position or opinion, as far as this isn't a massive L, is basically she was green. She wasn't, in any prominent really storylines anyway, I guess. She didn't bring people to the brand, which is not true because people who are submersed in the wrestling culture, right? Ultra fans forget about casual people and they forget about the casual perspective, right? So I took a rest from wrestling for a minute. As you guys can see, I took a rest. And in that rest, it was so good, that hiatus, it was so good because I can come back to wrestling objectively almost, because I wasn't as attached to it. I wasn't in it as often. So I feel like I could be a little bit more fair from a position of somebody who's coming in blind, right? You see Jade Cargill and you want to watch. You are curious as to who this woman is, because just the way she looks in her physique, she has that wow factor. She has that crossover appeal. Why you would build somebody up for that long, she was undefeated, just to let them walk out on you and just let them go to WWE when your women's division is the weakest out of all the promotions, is beyond me. I cannot understand that. It makes no sense to me. Also, as far as AEW with their demographic problem, as far as the diversity problem, the ethnicity, as far as people coming in to watch, it isn't that broad. Okay, there's specific type of person that watches AEW, and they look a specific type of way, and it's not very broad. It's the least broad out of the other wrestling entertainment bodies that we have, entities that we have. So it's a massive L. It is a huge, huge L. I don't care what anybody says. It will not change my mind. It's a massive L, and it is just clear to me that Tony Khan does not value. He already doesn't care about stories, which is, or doesn't know how to tell real, captivating, creative stories, which is pretty evident. It wasn't evident a few years ago when AEW first started. People were so happy. It was the new that fresh newness. Everybody was happy with something different. But as the years went on, we can really see how you treat your women's division. We can really see that you don't want this to be a entertainment. You just want this to be a wrestling thing, which will fail and which people will become more and more disinterested, which they have been. You can look at the ratings with this, because wrestling is predetermined. Let's say it together, everybody. Wrestling is predetermined. It's not an actual sport. So for you to act like this is a actual sport and do all these tournaments and have no real stories, you can only have so many banger matches before. I've seen all this 1,000 times. I've seen all the flips and dives, and it is boring. Okay, it becomes, even the high intensity, high action, it becomes boring. And you can kind of see this in the men's division, but you can really see this in the women's division because of the lack of care. So Jade Cargill leaving, to me, is not that surprising. It's not that, it's disappointing. It's a huge L, and it's a huge indicator of the fact that AEW and Tony Khan does not care or value his women's division. It's very evident. So what I want to know is Jade actually going to go to the WWE? Because in the reports, they're saying that it's imminent. Is she really going to the E? And if she is, will she get what she has been searching for? I'm pretty sure it's the exposure. Now, the thing is, Jade has come out before and said the reason why she turned down WWE in the past was because of the severe work schedule, hardcore. They work over there. They work you to the bone. Okay, you're out. You're out. You're about. You're not doing signings, or if you're not, wrestling here or wrestling there. You're not on TV, promoting this here, promoting that there. They work you to a crisp there. And one of her gripes, one of the reasons why she said that she picked AEW over WWE in the first place, was account of this brutal work schedule that WWE puts you through. Now it seems as though that has changed. She's really close to Cody. So he's already over there. And if you don't believe he's not talking and in people's ears and kind of being, preparing the landscape for them when they do eventually cross over, because more people are on the way to crossing over. I will guarantee you that there will be more crossovers in the future. Guarantee this. So what I want to know is Jade Cargill actually going to the E? And if she is, how will that end up? Like what? Let me get a broad overview for this. The deck that I'm using is the Starman Tarot deck. It's very, very eclectic. It's very interesting. And it has a lot of wand energy, a lot of fire energy in this, a lot of creative energy. I haven't used this deck in a minute, and I used to start off when I started reading on wrestling and the dirt sheets and wrestling situations. I started with this deck, so I think it's fair that I go back to it. Let's get a general on Jade Cargill in the WWE. Let's see. All right, cut the cards. I'm going to start off with 3 cards. Now, energy coming in and the outcome. So the energy now is the Prince of Wands. The Prince of Wands in this deck translates to the page. Bringing in the energy, bringing in the fire, bringing in the good news. There is a little fox in the back here, right? So she definitely wants to start a new path, a new vision. But I'm drawn to this fox here. I'm wondering if there might be a bit of shady going on as far as what's being promised for her and what will really be done, what will actually hash out into, come to fruition. I don't know. Let's see what the next card is. Then we have the Queen of Swords energy coming in. So the Prince of Wands, somebody young, something young, something inexperienced, the Passion of Swords coming in, having your eyes on what you want to do, setting that path and heading straight to it. So there's a lot of passion and a lot of new, wanting to create something new and set the world on fire with this. But then you also have the Queen of Swords. So I think this is Jade popping up. She's very smart. Okay, this woman is very smart. She is very about her business. Okay, she studies. She is battle tested. Okay, and you can't just pull the wool over her. So this is giving me, I know the risks as far as the merger. There are going to be layoffs. There's going to be different people who are going to be in different places now, people that are going to be moved and shook into different positions. So it's giving me, that was then, this is now. I feel like she's very aware of that. That's the whole card may be subject to change type energy coming in. And then the final outcome. Okay. So we got the 8 of Cups. So we have 2 court cards. So maybe 2 people show up, 2 ideas, 2 energies. Jay definitely is showing up. I don't know when Jay Cargill's birthday is. I don't know if she's an air sign or if she's a fire sign or what. But Jay definitely is popping up. The outcome, though, is the 8 of Cups. 8s are about advancements, going forward. And this right here, the 8 of Cups specifically, is leaving what you did, leaving stuff in the past, and moving on to a future. Now, in this card in particular, this is about the different options and the different choices. But it was in reverse. It was in the inverted position, right? It was in the shadow position. So the final outcome could definitely be her either being so overwhelmed with the, hey Sharon, how are you? This was a completely random pop-up live thing because I haven't been on here in so long. There's been a lot of stuff happening with me. Thank you, Sharon. Sending you love as well. There's been a lot of stuff going on with me. My mom recently passed away, so it's been rough. And I haven't seen a lot of things in wrestling that I particularly cared about, So, but I'm finally in a position, I'm finally in a space where I'm trying to get back on the horse. I've grieved, I'm feeling a little bit better. So I'm going to try to ease into this as gently as I can. Well, thanks, Sharon. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, girl. So the last card I have on here is basically the 8 of Cups, and it was in reverse. So, thank you. I miss you guys too. The 8 of Cups in reverse kind of screams to me that this is where she's going to end up. This is where she is going to be headed. And I feel like Jade is in the position where WWE is the prime source where she can get all that exposure that she couldn't get from the other promotion. Like I said, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, AEW's Tony Khan really doesn't care about his women's division. It shows that he does not care about his women's division. And the fact that you have one of your biggest stars basically just walk out and say, yeah, I'm going to fulfill my duty with you, but I don't think I'm getting the exposure that I should have got. Okay. So that leads me to another question, right? Jade is leaving. Jade will turn up in WWE. And how it's going to work out is I think she's going to stay there for a minute. I think they're going to push her to be a huge star. She has the body, she has the look, she has the attitude. And I think this is a big money move for her. But I want to know, hey, Risa, how are you? What I want to know is, why did she leave? What was the reason? Because as we've seen in the dirt sheets, a couple of weeks ago, if not a week ago, she just said on Twitter, or maybe it was, I'm not calling it X. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. She came out on Twitter, and I believe she said something up to the effect of, I love AEW. This is my home. Tony Khan lets me be me. You know, I don't feel like just another number. I'm appreciated here is basically what she said. That was a week ago. So what changed in a week? That's kind of what I want to know. How do you make that much of a switch in a week? What was the reason? Did she feel like she was underutilized? Did she feel like her talents will be basically utilized better in WWE with the new merger of Endeavor, with the new merger of UFC? Different people are put in place, different people are put in charge. Did she feel like Tony couldn't handle, didn't really know what he was doing? What was the reason? Why the switch all of a sudden? It's kind of crazy to me. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull on that and see what made her switch, because she's been there for, I mean, AEW started in 2018. She's been there since then, I believe. You know, she's a homegrown talent, which means that the promotion found this wrestler, took them under their wing, prepared them for the big time, gave their resources and everything, money, time, resources. Why? Why would she leave? What would make her leave now? So let's see. What is the reason for Jade Cargill leaving AEW? What was the reason? Because in my opinion, I think that Tony just don't know what he's doing. But let's see what the cards have to say on it. Oh, man. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. So the first card we have out of the gate is the three of cups here. And with the Three of Cups, you would think, hey, that's a happy card, right? It's about celebration. It's about people coming together. Well, this card came up in reverse. So she started feeling like she wasn't appreciated, right? She started feeling like she wasn't getting the push that she needed, the support that she needed, because threes are typically about support. you know, people coming together to support you in some kind of way, you know, a building, a continuation of the building of something. And she didn't feel like she was getting that support. And then the next card is another Cups card. So I'm seeing some emotional changes here. Seeing some emotional changes. You got the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is about going back to the past, reminiscing, as you can see in this card here. You got little wishes. You see how we're a little person, typically somebody who is young, looking at the pictures typically maybe from the past, maybe things from the past, little snapshots and stuff from the past. You see, trying to reach out to the stars, the wishes, the dreams, and all of that. But this was in reverse. So this is giving like things aren't like what they used to be. So I used to get the push. I used to feel like I was valued and I was put up front, but I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like I have the support. I don't feel like I used to feel. And the last card we have out is the Five of Pentacles, right? So destitution, out in the cold, the poverty card, that's what people usually call this card. Fives are about changes. So the outcome is the change, right? But this was the five in reverse. This was upside down. So getting over the poverty. So I think what that's saying to me is she definitely needed a change. She felt like towards the end, like it is what it is, and I'm gonna let it go. Not only am I gonna let it go, I don't see this situation getting any better. I don't see this situation. I don't see if I stay here for another 2-3 years, however long they want to sign the contracts for. I don't feel like I'm going to get anything out of it. I feel like I would have just wasted my time for another 3 years, which is nuts because anybody who don't know what I'm talking about, not everybody here is a wrestling fan or keeps up with wrestling, but just look up Jade Cargill. Just look her up. See how this woman looks, and you can see that this is a bona fide superstar on your hands. So much money, so much crossover appeal that can be had that I feel like is just wasted. It's just wasted. So now what I'm going to ask is that takes me to my next question, which is AEW's women's division ever going to get better? Will Tony Khan actually put value into his division? Because he just keeps signing these wrestlers. And hey, Sharon, you're back. He keeps signing these wrestlers, but in the world of sports entertainment, in the world of professional wrestling, you can sign whoever you want to. If you're not utilizing these people, if you're not putting together captivating stories to get people really invested or really involved to keep them coming back every week to week to the product, you're not doing anything but wasting a bag. You're wasting more money. And that's not what you want to do when you're starting off. I don't think that's the best move to go to, right? So I want to ask, will Tony Khan actually put value into his women's division, and will it get better? Will it improve? Because I go to different spaces in the IWC. So that's the Internet Wrestling Community. I go into these spaces and I see people complain over and over about the women's division in AEW. And then you have the subsection of people who just want to crap on women's wrestling. They just want to crap on women, to be honest. They want to crap on women's wrestling. They want to say women's wrestling does not draw, which is not true. The only reason why women's wrestling does not draw is because it is not booked, and the people at the top do not book it in a way to where people aren't interested. It is not, professional wrestling is not an actual sport. It is predetermined. It is like it's sports entertainment. It really is. It's sports theater. And in it being sports theater, the value is not in the moves alone. The value is not in the flips and the tricks and the dives alone. The value is putting together the story, right? And I know at the end when your name is put in the history books and they say, people won't remember the story. They're just going to see the number next to your name, whether or not either the W or the L, whether you won this match or you lost this match. They're not going to remember the story. And I would say that's further down the line, right? That's barely true because people remember the story. I remember growing up when I watched when it was WWF back then. And you had The Rock, you had Stone Cold, you had all these people. I remember the stories. I remember the Rock Stone Cold story. I remember the story with, Stone Cold and Vince and Kennedy McMahon, and how crazy that was. I remember when Stone Cold ended up turning heel in some way and joining up with Mr. McMahon, which was, we didn't like that, by the way. But we remember it. Okay, we remember the story. So to some degree, yes. Wins and losses, they will look at your name. They will say whether or not you won, you lost, that means something. But people, as far as watching on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, people come back for the stories. So I just want to know, to be absolutely honest, I want to know, will the division get any better? Will Tony ever really care? I don't know if he will. I don't think he will. I think that might be a heritage thing, but that's just my opinion. So, will the division get any better? Well, so the first card, Major Arcana card, we have the High Priestess straight out of the gate, the intuition, the seeing, the unseen, what's behind the wall, what's behind the curtain. So, there is, and this, to be honest, this keeps coming up because I remember, now I'm recollecting past polls on this subject, because this isn't the first time I've asked this question, and I have a feeling it won't be the last. But with this High Priestess card here, you have the knowledge there. The knowledge, you know what to do. This is telling me, and then I have the two, right? The twos coupling, the pairing, right? The indecision of it all. So even though we have a wealth of, and it's the high priestess, female, right? The feminine energy. We have a wealth of knowledge to be obtained, to a well to be tapped into, right? We know what to do, but for some reason, when we get into our lizard brain, when we get into our, because you have your intuition, right, which we know, and then you have your conscious mind. In our conscious mind, for some reason, Tony Khan just he I when it comes to the women, he just don't know what to do. I don't know why. And this keeps coming up because I remember pulling the Two of Swords on this question before. His indecision is wild, right? It is absolutely nuts. He gets in the space where he doesn't want to move, right? So he's locked up with indecision coming in constantly, even though he has all the knowledge to do so. He has all the talent to do so. And then the final card is the Two of Wands. So in the beginning process of moving forward, the passion to want to move forward, to do what you like, to basically put these ideas you have into action. But I mean, it ends on that. So maybe, but I still really don't see it. Even in this card set, I don't see it, guys. I don't see it. And then at the bottom of the deck, you have the Eight of Wands, which is movement card, but it's in the reverse position, which means there really isn't any movement on it. I think we're going to get more of the same. I think we're going to get more of the same janky mess. It ain't really going to change too much in my humblest of opinions. That's what I see in the cards. It's sad, man. It's really sad. It's really, really sad to me because people don't invest in women's wrestling, not because there is a lack of talent, not because the women can't captivate people and also tell wonderful stories. It's because the people at the top, typically the men at the top, have no idea how to tell women's stories in wrestling. That's what it seems like it's boiling down to. And if that's the case, you all need to move over and delegate to a female wrestler, to somebody who's been in the game, has some skin in the game for a long time, who's a legend, and you need to utilize them and delegate it to them instead of feeling like they are the only ones who can fix it. Okay? Now, I think that's it for today, guys. I just kind of wanted to come on here. This was a surprise live because I haven't been on here in a minute, and I wanted to touch base and tell everybody hello. I'm still living. I'm still above ground. I missed all you guys. I love all you guys. Like I said, I will, I've just been grieving, so I'm going to get back into the swing of things. I'm finally in a space where I feel good enough to do it. I'm interested enough to come back and say what it is, everybody. And I appreciate y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all for showing love and support and showing up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Risa. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody. I love y'all. I will get together with Tanya one of these days because we used to do lives and stuff together. when Johnny is available, I will get together with Johnny and we will do, try to get back into the swing of our wrestle roundups and wrestle recaps. As you know, I love having Johnny on because he is in the peripheral of wrestling. He pulls on wrestling, so he's super fun. And I love having Tanya here because that is my spirit mom. I love her. Shout out to both of them. I know they're not here, but shout out to them. I love them so much. I love you guys so much. I love having Tanya here because even though she doesn't watch wrestling, I love her pulling cards and having her as the control of the group. I think it's really cool. I love the dynamic of us three. So I will try to get back into doing that at least once a month. I will try to do that on my channel, have a live here. So look out for that, everybody. I love y'all. Big hugs. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And I will see y'all soon, okay? Peace out.